Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of Presentation Hell podcast. We're broadcasting here from Tampa, Florida in the Embark Collection Studios. It's a great place to be. Today, I'm sitting here with Julius Becker, who is the founder of Newport State. He took his college career in athletics and has turned it into a business. Tell us what that business is and what you're doing here. Before you even start, I'd like to say I like the positioning of your logo on your shirt.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Now tell us about your business and what's going on.
So my name is Julius Becker. I'm 23 years old. I came to the United States and Tampa 5 years ago, and basically I'm trying to turn my dream and experiences that I gained throughout my life into a business.
Okay, what are those experiences that you had that were going into the business? Let's get to nuts and bolts here.
All right, so I played soccer in Germany since I'm 5 years old, and it was always a big passion for me. And I'm from a smaller town in Germany, right on the border to Luxembourg in France. So
Did you play competitive?
Yeah, I never really thought it would be possible for me to kind of reach the professional level, but throughout my youth career I kind of got offers. I got called up to the U15 national team.
Oh, that's exciting.
And
U15 is under 15 people and 15 years old and under. Go ahead.
Yeah, for whole Germany, and I was from my small town, and the other players were all from Munich and Dortmund, all those big teams.
And you're not like a big dude. You must be a badass out on the field.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty fast.
Did you come to the U.S. as part of this talent? Did this help lead you here? Did you play in school? Did you, tell us you went to the University of Tampa?
Yeah.
And you're from here in Tampa now.
Yeah.
And how did that lead into this business? Tell me more about the nuts and bolts of the business is what I really want to get to.
Yeah, so basically being a student athlete is a whole different perspective than playing in Germany as a youth player. And I really wanted to come here to kind of get the experience of studying and playing at the same time. And so COVID hit, and I wasn't really sure what I'm going to do during that time frame, because I was in a other country, basically away from my family, and I couldn't play, so I kind of purposeless, if that makes sense, and kind of felt empty because I couldn't play. And so that's kind of where the whole development started, of actually thinking about how I could turn my sport and experience and what I do into a business model. And
so you hear that? Emptiness in your life can create a business model.
Yeah, I mean, I came from a two-year break.
So what is the actual business here? Are you representing student athletes? Are you helping them influence? Are you teaching them how to use their social impact because they're on TV and sell products? What are you really doing? Are you a agent?
Yeah, so we are kind of trying to redefine the agent side, but what we actually do is we represent players and brands at the same time. So we are trying to be a two-way street. For one side, a marketing manager for a brand, but then on the other side, we want to be a representative for the player. So we started the student athlete level, now with NIL opening up as well.
So it sounds like the raw material you're dealing with is the players.
Yes.
Without a player, brands don't give a hoot, really.
Yeah.
And your involvement in the college level, I'm going to assume you've made some really good connections and have some trust amongst other athletes that say, Julius, I need you to handle this for me.
Yeah.
That's what you're looking for. You're looking for someone who can stuff the ball in the hoop and go, Julius, I need you on the back end.
Yeah, exactly. So my whole idea was, during COVID when I couldn't play, I want to take care of athletes off the field. So I kind of want to stay in sport. I want to be there with my experience that I made throughout my life and my college career. And I want to be a resource to those guys in order to kind of, for them to just be able to focus on the field. And
okay, so how do you make money for them? What are your revenue streams?
So we have basically two in that sense. With the two-way street, we have one side representing the athlete, where if we get him a brand deal, we can get a percentage of that overall deal.
But what does a brand deal mean? I know what Michael Jordan does and, the highest end stuff. But when you're looking at a student athlete who might have a couple thousand people interested in them, or only the university knows who they are, how does that monetize? How do you turn that into the rent?
So you can run campaigns. Basically, let's take UT student, basketball player at UT. we could run a local ad here in Tampa, kind of trying to gain some market traction through on campus for a restaurant, for whatever brand it is that it kind of wants to grow, and we can show with numbers on social media or on different, depending on what kind of channel that firm wants to grow in. And we can show them with numbers of how much money we actually generated them through the player, or how much new leads we generated. And then
so how do you get cash? Where does the cash come from?
They are paying the player a percentage, or they pay a player an X amount of money, and we take a percentage of that as a consulting
Are these
fee.
people allowed to play players that are members of the NCAA amateur at this point, or is this an argument that's being had?
It's an argument, but it's also an open market now for the past year and a half.
Why?
And,
what made it an open market?
Players were going crazy that they couldn't get paid for their name for being played. So before NIL opened up, the NIL market opened up, a college athlete would be...
What is the NIL market? Tell the camera.
It's the name, image, likeness market for college athletes, which allows student athletes now to be compensated for their marketability and their name. So let's say...
name, image, and likeness. You guys will hear this a lot more out there. Name, image, and likeness. That's the core of what a celebrity is.
Yeah.
A name, image, and likeness. So they're taking those basic principles that used to only come out of Hollywood and adopting it on a collegiate level.
Yeah. Since there is college athletes out there that have 1 million, 2 million followers on socials that have...
But why would they need you if they already have 1 million followers?
Well, they want to play.
They don't want to deal with that. So you manage those avenues, those avenues of marketing, so to speak. And so do you actually like manage their Instagram accounts? Are you the guy behind the screen going, yeah, that's great, I love you, and answering this when the student is obviously playing or working out, doing their job?
Yeah. That's something where we come in, where we kind of want to have a personalized offer to any player. Our goal is that no player ever has to pay for us, and we only get a percentage of the revenue we generate.
Are you exclusive?
No.
So you can cut the deal and you can get them going and they can walk away from you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And then another thing that we do, though, is that we have a media production team on board. We have a graphic design team on board. And me personally, as a former marketing major or bachelor in marketing, I can create kind of campaigns around these services. So when we go up to a brand and we pitch them, hey, you want to work with player X together, we can also pitch them a campaign of how to utilize that player.
So not only are you showing the worth of the player, but you're adding campaign type events under each one of them to help do that, bring that forward.
Yeah, so that's the second revenue stream that comes in. So on the one side, we represent the player, help him with his personal brand, and get a percentage of a deal that we make for him. And then on the other hand, we are trying to gain or to build relationships with brands in order to have a second revenue stream where they can pay us for media production. So if let's say this local restaurant who is sponsoring the UT basketball kid, they want to have a commercial on Instagram, then we can run that commercial for them. We can look at the numbers for them, and we can also produce.
So you're acting as an agency in many respects this way. Is there a technical platform with this, or is this straight, rubber meets the road? We go out there and pull our boots up and go to work.
It's straight just talking to me basically. And that's the thing I mentioned prior to the recording. It used to be me and my business partner. We were until yesterday.
So yesterday something happened. What happened yesterday?
Yesterday was just basically the conversation that me and my co-founder had, where we kind of decided to. It's best for us because we are best friends as well. We live together. We do everything together. We kind of.
What's the name?
William Foster. Props to
William's
Foster.
His best friend, and yes, he has a name. Go on.
I would not sit here if it wouldn't be also for him or with him and whatever. We kind of helped each other out of getting the idea together, creating this business model. Because
so you guys are partners in the whole deal. You're doing it together. So who's the third person who came in yesterday? What's the big announcement?
No, the big announcement is that William Foster is leaving Newport State as a partner.
So what does that mean?
That means that
it's all yours.
It's basically all mine again. But as I said, I wouldn't be sitting here if it wouldn't be
Without him, all right.
with William, and at the end of the day, the sun goes down, the sun comes up. You got to keep going.
Presentation Hell podcast is brought to you by the newly released book Presentation Hell, coming to you live April 11th, 2023 on Amazon. So I'd like to ask you a couple of questions. A little bit about your background. What brought you here? You said you played soccer from a small youth and got some awards and did well and came here and partnered, and things have come a long way right up to your last revelation of going on your own, so to speak.
Yeah.
So start at the beginning. It's your platform.
So I moved out with 14 years old due to the reason of soccer. And
Hold it. You moved out of your house at 14 years old?
Yes.
So you were basically on your own at that point without your true parent guidance? Oh,
yes.
Pretty impressive.
Yeah. So I got called up to the national team, and I had to leave my hometown because I couldn't play for a small
So
town
you
anymore.
toured with the national team of Germany at 14 years old?
Yes and no. I toured with them for 2 times, and then I had to move out because I signed a contract with a team where I had to live and play then for.
And what team was that?
Erste FC Kaiserslautern.
I could not repeat that, but yes, I'm sure it's if they gave you a contract, they're paying you money. I get it.
Yes. So it's basically you move out, you live in an academy, and you just playing and go to school. And basically, school is kind of your second fiddle, I would say, to your life. But it's always an emphasis that the kids finish their schools. And so I moved out. I switched teams 4 times, and I moved.
You're like a free agent. They were just tossing you around from team to team.
Kind of, yeah.
You're like, the paycheck's coming in, I'm going.
Yeah, so it's like, and it starts pretty early, so you're kind of forced to grow up a lot and deal with situations that are kind of tough sometimes.
Okay, what was the toughest situation in this? Because think about it. Being 14 years old, going to a boarding school, going to a military academy, going to camp. This is just as intense, if not a lot. Not camp. Camp is ass-kissing stuff. But this is probably very serious. So what was the most challenging thing that you came across during that period of time?
I would say season 2014. We were supposed to be, or we were favored to win the German championship in U17, under 17 Bundesliga. And I played for the favorite, and I had a very good preseason. I got a red card in my final preseason game, which took me out for 2 weeks. I got injured for 2 weeks. I came back, and I didn't get too much playing time. I was more of a role player, substitution player. And so during that time, I struggled a lot with kind of mental health and confidence in that scenario. So it was my first contact with a sports psychologist at 16 years old. So I would say that was probably the toughest. Then from leading that season of not doing well anymore, not being the best, I would say.
Yeah, it's hard to come back from that.
Could have played. I got put on loan to a different team where they take you and move you to a different team.
Yeah, we heard about that a little while ago. Go ahead.
And so I had to leave, and I kind of had the option to either move schools again for the 3rd time within a year and a half, and leave all my friends again. And I made the decision to stay, but also take a step back in my career for that. And so I would say that year was probably the toughest phase, toughest situations all over.
What did you learn most about it?
That you got to keep going.
Okay.
And not everything goes up all the time. Like some things come down on you. Sometimes it's also mostly on you in a sense.
Well, I was going to get to that. I'm going to give you some insight into that I see on it.
Yeah.
If you notice, the downfall started when you got your red card.
Yeah.
And it caused you. So you got your red card because you were obviously being an asshole on the field somehow, some way. So your basic action caused what went into a downward spiral. Yes. And for you guys leading out there, when something happens to you, the sooner you take responsibility for it, the sooner you get back on your feet and start walking. The more you keep bitching and moaning about it, the less you're ever going to get out of it. You're going to end up in the psychiatrist's office. And this guy got out of it because of it, right? How long did it take? A whole damn season of being loaned around like some...
Yeah, so that's something that I wanted to get at. It's especially in sports, you always, if you don't play, you blame the coach or whatever it is. But the only thing you got to worry about, and you can worry about every single thing in life, the only thing you should worry about is what you can affect on a daily, and it's getting up, eating good, working out, whatever it is, whatever you're doing. It's your own actions. And
That's real good advice, by the way.
It took me some moments, or like a lot of moments, kind of to realize that. But now I would say that I actually can do that, which also is a reason that brought me to the United States, because that was one of the things, or one of the ways I kind of tried to deal with those things, where I was, okay, I'm going to a new country, I'm going to start new, I don't care about my career right now at this point. I want to also study and grow as a human being. I want to learn new things. You
took inventory of your own life, who you are, what was good, what was bad, what's coming on, and you got a new start, and you chose to put different components of your life forward. You weren't all soccer. Soccer was a part of it, but there's also study and furthering your life and knowing. That's impressive. A lot of people never get to that.
And that moment was basically the one during COVID when the season was canceled, where it was the final like pushover. I met William, and he kind of showed me some other perspectives on life, that there's a life outside of the field.
Okay,
as well.
So you met the partner in your business at that time.
Yes.
So at what was the lowest point and what was going on when the opportunity presented itself, you saw where you could be of value that could take your life to a better place.
Yes. So and he was kind of the reason that, or the person that showed me that, because he was working with NFL and NBA guys together on the content creation side. And so my agent that I had during the time passed away during COVID, which made me think about the whole agent situation. And so just in general, sitting there and talking to him and seeing the other side of the business, me being on the field and kind of, I can't play because the season is canceled, and that kind of.
I just want to make another point here. Not only was the red card and all the stuff that cascaded down when COVID started and you stepped out over here, you lost your coach. You lost your agent. You lost someone who provided support for you and what was going on. So not only was your world falling apart, but your support system fell apart.
Yeah. It was a lot of stuff was going on during COVID. My agent, and then the scholarship with the team, and it was just.
Okay, so you get here at the U.S. You're down here in Tampa. You're at the University of Tampa. You're playing ball again. What happens? Tell me the next step.
Yeah. So then COVID hits. As I said, I meet William. I can't play, and then I woke up one day and I was like, okay, I think I know how to start my business that we talked about for fun on the couch. Like the ideas we had, we kind of like bounced around, and then I just started it. First name that I came up with was Newport State, which is the final name of it, and Newport was my street that I lived on during that time, and State was the street of William.
Okay, that's a good reason.
So we decided Newport State, and then I ordered a hoodie to make it official. I did an Instagram page, and then we just went from there. And the business project, the idea and model like pivoted a bunch of times, but that's what you kind of got to do. You got to kind of be adaptable to how the market changes. NIL opened up after the NIL market for the college athletes to be compensated, opened up. So for me, it was basically the perfect opportunity to kind of give back, since I thought that I'm not going to be a high-paid professional athlete anymore.
Yeah, I mean, quite frankly, we can all dream of being a high-paid professional athlete, but that's 0.00001 of the, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's 2 million kids who want to play basketball. 20,000 get to play in college. 1,000 get to play in the NBA, and only 5 get to be the champions.
Yeah.
And out of 2 million to have 5 at the champions, kind of a breakdown thing. I also want to point out is that they talk about businesses being created in garages like Amazon and Hewlett Packard and things like that. Sometimes they're started on your couch.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, no, they definitely started on the couch. It was, I actually know the exact time. It was April 26th, 1:32 at night.
See how that happens? That changes your life, actually giving direction and purpose. And purpose in your life makes you more sound mentally, physically, and what you do on a daily basis, you have more confidence, and you will attract people more like you if you do that.
Yeah, and all I learned from the experience, and now also with William leaving, is
Hold it. Now tell me, this is William. He brought your company together. He was on State Street. You were on Newport. You crossed at the intersection. You created a company. So what happened? I just heard that. Go ahead. Lay it out. Tell us.
I mean, we had a very, very good dynamic going for a very long time. We had a lot of momentum going for us. We did some very good travels together to the season opener last year of the college football game, or around the same time right now. A year ago, we went to West Virginia, toured all the facilities. We met an amazing amount of people. And so with all that going on and the momentum, we were kind of trying to gain a lot of market traction and position ourselves differently than other agencies do. And so while all of that was going on, we kind of lost a little bit of our friendship, I would say, and then it was a lot of business going on. And since we moved in together, it was more like go. So there wasn't really a break to it. And so while we kind of split a little bit in January in the sense of you do your thing, I do my thing, and it wasn't a two-man show anymore. It was more like we both tried to add in our own value to the business. We kind of decided it would be best to kind
Well, that's fair enough. That starts a new chapter in your life is what it does. So with that, I would like to give you a moment right now to say, who do you want to plug? Who do you want to promote? Is there any athlete that we should be looking at going forward that you want us to know about, that you're showing the world right now? And platform's yours. The eyes are yours.
So first thing I want to say is thank you, William Forster. Second thing I want to say is that even though it was last night, I'm ready to get going today already. That's why I decided to say it already in this podcast and kind of make it official here. No one knows about this yet. And then the third thing I want to say is that I'm ready and to kind of represent whoever is out there who is committed to his sport, who has a potential to get going, and who is willing to work on themselves and kind of be a role model in society, because athletes do have a platform to share, and I want to make sure that those athletes get the platform. And then on the other hand, I want to make sure that even if you don't make it to the professional level, or if you are at the professional level, that you're taken care of whenever your career comes to an end. Because a lot of people, or a lot of college athletes especially, are going to be left over as soon as their college career is over. And I really want to make sure that there's a secondary path program kind of for you guys in order to get an internship at one of our sponsors or whatever it is.
And how does the audience get in touch with you?
You can reach me either on Instagram, email, phone number, 24/7. I'm trying to be available.
What is your Instagram handle? What is your phone number? Lay it out. This is the time for someone to give you a call directly.
My phone number is 254-340-9354. That's my personal number. You can reach me anytime, even at 3 a.m. And then you have Newport State on Instagram. And my email is jbecker, B-E-C-K-E-R, @newportstate.com.
Well, that's excellent. Julius, thank you for coming out here. It's Newport State. It's wonderful having you here in Tampa at Embark Collective. This is the Presentation Hell podcast, and I'd like to thank you all for listening today, and I'll see you in the next episode.